Welcome back to the One Decision Away podcast. I'm your host, Elijah Mang. In this one, we're going to talk about your greatest advantage, your greatest power in life, and how to use it. And I want to keep this short, simple, and concise because that's all it really needs to be. Your greatest power is your perspective. And so there's there's many different ways, but there's two different main ways that we're going to talk about that you can look at your life in or through. And that is looking at your life as if things are happening to you. Life is beating you up. You're the victim of the circumstances that are thrown at you in your life. And then the second one is more of a perspective of taking ownership, taking responsibility, and also letting go of control. Not giving up your control to some other power outside of you, but letting go of control, understanding that there is a greater process of perfection unfolding in your life that you may not be in control of, that you may not be able to see exactly how it's working for you, but understanding that it is working for you, understanding that everything in your life is happening perfectly for you. And it takes a really strong perspective to actually sit in this, to actually allow yourself in your life to be guided by this perspective. Because what it does is not only does it release the pressure from you that is making your life more miserable, that's making you suffer more, that's making life harder for you. It releases that perspective, but it also allows you to open up to the space of being, the energy, the vibration of being in your life that allows you to be open to all of the possibilities, to all the opportunities, to everything that is right there waiting for you or unfolding for you. But it may be unfolding through challenging situations and circumstances, and so you don't see that. But the tendency so often is to judge the present moment of what we see right in front of us right now. We judge it. We look at it and label it as, oh, this is bad, this is terrible, this is horrible. I don't want this, I wouldn't wish this on anybody. But if only you knew that this was just a stepping stone that is a perfect piece in the puzzle. The puzzle would not be complete without this piece in place. And it may be hard, it may be challenging, but if you can look at it through a higher perspective, I'm not saying ignore the feelings that come up through your experiences. That's a part of the value of the experience. But stop judging and labeling all of your experiences in your life as good or bad or wanted, unwanted. Obviously, you know what you want, you know what you don't want. But with this perspective, you'll eventually get to a point where you look back and you probably already can look at it this way. You probably already experienced this, where you can look back at your life, at the shitty things that happened in your life, the most challenging things that have ever happened in your life. And you can now be grateful for them because you see how they shaped you into the person that you are now, and how they shaped your life into the circumstances that you are now experiencing your life as. And so stop labeling and judging the moment for what you see because you can't see the bigger picture. This reminds me of a story, and this is the Chinese farmer story. So you may have heard it, you may not have, but I'm going to share it anyway. So I'm reading it right here off my laptop, so it is going to be accurate. At first I was questioning whether I could actually tell it. But once upon a time, there was a Chinese farmer whose horse ran away. That evening, all of his neighbors came around to commiserate. They said, "We are so sorry to hear your horse has run away. This is most unfortunate." The farmer said, "Maybe." The next day, the horse came back, bringing 7 wild horses with it. And in the evening, everybody came back and said, "Oh, isn't that lucky? What a great turn of events. You now have 8 horses." The farmer again said, "Maybe." The following day, his son tried to ride one of the horses, and while riding it, he was thrown and broke his leg. The neighbors then said, "Oh dear, that's too bad." And the farmer responded, "Maybe." The next day, the conscription officers came around to conscript people into the army, and they rejected his son because he had broken his leg. Again, all the neighbors came around and said, "Isn't that great?" Again, he said, "Maybe." The whole process of nature is an integrated process of immense complexity, and it's really impossible to tell whether anything that happens in it or is good or bad, because you never know what will be the consequence of the misfortune, right? Or you never know what will be the consequences of a good fortune. So that's the, I believe that last one was said by Alan Watts, it looks like. But yeah, so essentially it goes on to share that we're so quick to label situations in our lives as good or bad. What if we just took the higher road, the higher perspective, understanding that there is a greater level of intelligence and perfection that is orchestrating everything in our life? And if you can surrender to that intelligence, if you can surrender to that higher power, whatever you want to call it, God, universe, some things really turn people off to the idea like God because it just has this very negative connotation, in relation with religion. But I do not see God as like a religious thing. It's literally just the higher intelligence of life itself and the creator of all of this. And, what that looks like, it's not a man in the sky. It's not anything like that. It's an energy. It is the energy of everything. That's at least my perspective on it. But whatever you want to label it, trust in this higher power, trust in this higher intelligence, and look at your life in a way where you're not so attached to the little details of the steps on the journey of how things unfold, but you have your focus on the broader perspective. You have your focus on the broader mission, on the objective, but also on the experiences of this moment. Because life is about experience. It's not just about getting to some objective. So while you may have specific objectives in mind, we all do. We have desires, which are great. We shouldn't dismiss our desires. Absolutely not. We shouldn't suppress our desires. But we shouldn't be so attached to our desires that we can't appreciate the present moment, that we can't find something to appreciate, that we can't find joy in where we are at right now, that we can't find some level of appreciation in whatever circumstances we're currently experiencing. Because again, you will look back eventually with the right perspective and be grateful for everything that you've gone through, for not necessarily for the suffering and stuff, you might be, but be grateful for how it has shaped you as a person, how it has shaped your life, and trust that your life is unfolding in a perfect way, that your life is perfect, that your purpose is already fulfilled in the fact that you're here. And to honor your purpose is to live in this way, to live with this perspective of perfection, understanding the perfection of your journey, because your purpose is fulfilled in the fact that you are here. This is something I've talked about multiple times in recent episodes. Your purpose is fulfilled just in the fact that you are here, that you are you. So while we think about purpose as there's all these other things that we need to do, that we need to focus on, whatever it may be, your purpose is literally being you. Your purpose is fulfilled. Just surrender to your purpose. Be yourself. Don't try to be somebody else. Don't try to create a life that you think looks glamorous, that you think will make you worthy, that you think will make you better. Of course, go for better. Always strive for better. But don't go for a life that you think will make you better because you believe that you're not enough as you are, and you need to build up this facade and look a certain way to other people in order to be good enough, in order to be worthy of love, whatever it is that you're seeking. Because if you look at so many of the people who have built these different levels of success, it is a facade, and then they feel trapped in their success because it's just building up. It's building a kingdom, but then the kingdom goes on to block your view and separate you from who you actually are, because as you build up this kingdom, just to use a common word for it, you're building up all of these things that are like reinforcements for you apparently being good enough now, because you have all these things that you've created. So you can't let your self-worth be dependent on any of that. You need to find the foundation within you and understand that to fulfill your purpose in the greatest way possible, you simply need to be yourself. You simply need to go deeper within. It's more about deconditioning than it is about learning new things. It's about letting go of what you've learned that has separated you from who you actually are. that has separated you from your inherent gifts, because you have inherent value. You are inherently a genius in some sense. I don't know who said it. It might have been Albert Einstein. You can't judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree. There's all these different aspects of nature, and they all work together so perfectly. If you changed one little thing, then it affects the entire system. So if you're not allowing yourself to be yourself, eventually you're going to experience so much pain because of your resistance that you're forced to give it up, that you're forced to give up the facade, that you're forced to, you're going to experience circumstances that break down every notion of who you thought you were, so that you can finally destroy the walls that you've built up and actually be yourself, be who you are. It's going to happen. It's inevitable, but you don't have to wait for that. You don't have to go through all of that. You can give it up now and allow yourself to from this moment, you're one decision away from this moment to decide to lean more into that, to decide to lean more into who you really are. And that is your greatest advantage. It's already within you. Your greatest advantage is within you in the fact that you are who you are. You're here for a reason. And so trust that and be authentic to yourself. Don't try to please other people. Be authentic to yourself. Trust in your own journey. Trust in who you are. Find value in that. Learn to appreciate your uniqueness. Because you are great. You're amazing, exactly as you are. So trust that. That's the message for today. Your life is unfolding perfectly. If you tell yourself that, it doesn't matter what you experience, you can allow yourself to re-ground in this knowing, in this truth of seeing the perfection of your life. If that doesn't make sense, drop any questions or anything in the comments, any insights, takeaways, literally anything. Please feel free to share in the comments. I love reading your comments and love feedback. I love to start conversations from this, because then it doesn't feel as one way, as much of like a one-way conversation. So anyway, I appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you like, subscribe if you're not subscribed already, and share this with somebody else who will benefit from it as well, because we all need to know that we are on our perfect, unique, individual journey, and stop comparing ourselves to other people's journey, to stop comparing ourselves to this idea of glamour that we think will make us worthy or good enough, or, how we want to look to others. That's not what it's about. So honor yourself, honor your truth. You're only one decision away. Thank you. Catch you in the next one. Peace.